everybody? We have a bit of a different video today. It's a slip-on exhaust for the Ninja 400, but we got a bit of a twist. I've mentioned to you how easy it is to do Ninja 400's exhaust and these little bike slip-on exhausts, so we're actually just going to do this in one take and see how quickly we can slap it on, so let's do it.
Officially started.
Okay, what do we got here? We got.
So pop this off and that off, and the whole
Okay.
cover comes out.
Oh, you already got that. Okay, great.
Yep.
We're cheating a little bit because we got the tool set up, but yeah.
Yep. We had to stack the odds in our favor somehow.
Yes. And we got this one up here. This bolt looks like a 12.
It's a 12 in the back and a 10 in the front.
That's
Maybe it's a 10 in the back. I can't remember.
12 in the back. Yeah. 12 in the back and 10 in the front sounds a little weird, but we'll keep it.
Maybe, yeah, that's in that angle.
I'm tightening.
Yep.
Every time, without fail. Now, because we're doing this in one take, we can't edit out any incompetence in post. Oh, and we'll put a little sound check of what the Ninja sounds like before here in the video. I think I was turning on this side now.
All right. There you go, now it's coming, almost there.
I just don't have any. There we go.
Oh, there goes the bolt.
Yep.
All right, so let's see if we can take this off.
Shield off, won't need that for our new Leo.
And then we just need to undo this guy right here. So I think that's...
Looks like a 12 as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna just hold it back. Hold up. Stuck trying to undo this guy.
Oh, yeah. People gave us shit for using that in the other video for the O2 sensor.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, we're always doing something wrong, I guess.
Alright.
In 2 minutes, we're doing good.
Yep. And almost there.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Just pull that out.
Boom. That's it.
All right, on the clock, 2 minutes and 40 seconds
Not
to get
bad.
the muffler off.
Now we gotta get the new Leo on, which I suspect will not be too difficult.
Nope.
So, this is our
Yep.
babiest of mid-pipes.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to that guy right there. So I'm feeling like that, and then we tighten that.
This one's gonna be,
Mounts it right on there.
boom.
And then we use the spacer right there.
Oh, that's for that. Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So we gotta just adjust our angle of attack.
Now see,
here.
you read the instructions before, had the tools before, you came prepared, that's the thing. Yeah.
Like I said, stacking the odds in our favor here.
Yes.
Alright.
Spacer, now this big bolt right here.
Got it?
I think so, yep. Tighten it on there. Alright, I think I can tighten that, and then if you want to get the spring on there, you can.
Well, let's before we get it super tool tight, let's just kind of make sure that we're.
Let's settle it, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna
That
take
looks
this.
pretty good, doesn't it?
It really does,
Yeah.
actually.
I like these new Leos. I like this little like grill back here. That looks cool.
Yeah, we'll have to show them when we do the sound check. But
Yeah.
there's a little bit of like a GP screen
Yeah.
in it.
Looks race spec. Which it basically has a home candy on.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard these get actually pretty loud with the slip-on, so I'm excited to see how it sounds.
As am I. All right, cool. So that's that.
Let me get the little one down here, right?
Yep. All right, and that just tightens right on there. Did I get the wrong size? Darn it.
Other size. We're on the clock.
There it is.
Go.
Now this we're gonna have to cramp the shit out of it.
Get it to where it covers. No leaks here, baby.
How's that feeling?
GNT.
Perfect. All right, and I'm gonna just whack this one more time.
Yep.
And we'll stop the clock.
No, we got the spring still.
Oh, we've got the spring. Oh,
Yeah.
of course, my favorite part.
Your favorite part. You're getting good with these springs so far.
Yo, I had a lot of practice.
650, yeah.
I think.
This will be easy for you to edit too. You don't have to do any editing.
I know.
One take.
It's one take. You want to try it?
Yes, I will. I've done it in a while.
Grab and yank.
Yep. I just want to yank your finger. Alright, I got it.
All right.
Keep it with her.
6 minutes. You can do it. You can do it.
Got it.
Got it. Awesome.
Time.
Time is 6 minutes and 17 seconds 66.
Boom.
Super short, easy peasy.
Easy peasy. 6-minute install. That's pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like that. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
See what our work has yielded.
Grab a little rag so we can wipe it down. I know some people were getting all uppity about fingerprints and footage that we're going to be leaving on there.
Yeah.
Everything to make you guys happy.
Spite is becoming familiar with how relentless the comment section can be sometimes.
Yeah, that ain't going anywhere. I'm literally shining it for y'all.
Yep.
There we
And I
go.
gotta say, this might be my favorite of the bunch that we've done, honestly.
It really does look good.
It looks great.
It keeps in kind of spec with the rest of the bike because of that nice shiny stainless steel, and there's some stainless steel parts up on the fairing.
Yeah.
I think it's a really great little accent piece to the bike.
6-minute install, and can't argue with that. And you get an
Yeah.
audible difference, which is fun.
So let's hear what it sounds like.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sounds very mean.
Yeah. Holy crap. Sounds way meaner than the R3.
It really does. I don't know.
Way deeper.
I don't know what it is, whether it's the pipe or
Maybe it's just the extra cubes.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's a
'cause
bigger engine.
it's got a really nice kind of bark to it that the
Yeah.
R3 didn't.
Yeah. All right, guys. What was that? 6 minutes flat? What was 6:20?
It was a little over 6. I think it was about 6 minutes 20 seconds. I'll put a little timer in there for you.
Yeah, reasonably competent people. Myself probably not as much as Spite. But now I'll throw it over to Spite. He's gonna take the little Ninja out and do a little review on the exhaust. So stay tuned.
All right, guys. So the next day, as you can tell, we are not in Yam's garage anymore. The Ninja spent the night with me. I just didn't want to have to run over to the main garage. But why don't we get a nice little startup? Remind you how it all sounds. really does sound great. We're gonna go take it out to one of my favorite little twisty roads that's not far from the center of downtown, and we're gonna talk a little bit about how it sounds, and I'll put the task cam in the tail of the bike for some raw audio. It really does sound like a Moto 3 bike now. It's amazing. But without further ado, let's get out and hear it for real, shall we? Okay, here's one problem with the Ninja 400 is my building has gates that are weight dependent. You can see these weight pads here. The Ninja is too light to trip the pad. Oh boy, okay. Let me open the gate with my little key thing. And we'll go out the in gate. Silly little Ninja. Alright guys, so on our way to the little twisty road that I want to hit up, we are going to be driving literally right through the heart of downtown. This is 6th Street, it's where all of the bars and late night hangout spots are. And I wanted to talk just a little bit about how the Ninja is in the city. Because, again, I don't think we've talked about that quite yet. And, you know, sitting around in traffic, it's fine. The nice thing about the Ninja and my big problem with it is the clutch lever, how basically kind of non-existent the lever feel is. There's, like, no weight to the pull. And because of that, you're not going to, like, stress your hand out by holding that clutch closed. You know, some bigger bikes that have, you know, tougher clutch springs, it can be exhausting to like constantly be letting the clutch out just a little bit, or, you know, pulling it in at a full stop and then letting it out and then pulling it in. It actually can be really exhausting on the hand. And this, I mean, there's no pull to it. There doesn't feel like there's a lot of resistance. And so, you know, it's just easy. I will say, though, that I was riding it back last night, and it was getting a little warm. I think that's kind of the curse of any fully fared bike in traffic, is that they stay hot. The plastic doesn't let the engine just breathe and cool off like a naked bike does. So in that sense, if you're perhaps commuting a lot in you know, the dead of summer, you know, here in Austin, it gets like to be 110 degrees. That's something worth bearing in mind. If you're just sitting still in stop and go traffic a lot, you can get to the point where perhaps the engine just overheats on you because it can't breathe. Now, that said, I have not specifically felt an overheating issue on this bike. That's all coming from my experience with my own motorcycle, where I have seen the oil temps get pretty toasty. With that being said, I do want to come back to the weight of the bike, because it just doesn't weigh anything, which is awesome when you're commuting, because you may be putting a leg down, you may be holding the bike up a lot, you know, like a red light or stop and go traffic. And having a bike that's just this light, oh, it's so nice, because you're not literally holding up this 500-pound behemoth. This thing, it literally, when it's standing up, and this is true for almost every motorcycle, when they're standing up, they're essentially weightless. But this, like, it stays weightless all the way down to about on the kickstand. It's just so light, which is awesome. Alright, I just had to pull over to make sure that I was actually filming and recording and doing all that good stuff. The bane of riding and filmmaking at the same time, I guess. But now that we're out on some nice little curvy roads, you know, this bike really is starting to feel like a little baby track bike. I would love to get the idea of what it feels to go back to back on something like this and say the RC390. I was not on board when the RC390 was in the stable. I do happen to know that Yammie just got an RC390 here at Harris Hill. So maybe if he's feeling generous one day, I'll get the opportunity to go ride that. But being as they're so close in CCs, I think it would be a pretty decent comparison. I do know that the RC is way more aggressive in seating position and stuff, so maybe it's not exactly 1-to-1, but I would argue that people can tend to cross-shop these two bikes. But man alive, does this just sound... It just sounds very meaty, and it sounds like it's got a little bit more under the hood than it really does. I actually did get to ride the R3 that we had in the stable, and I got to ride it with the Akrapovic pipe on there. And I don't know whether it's this bike or the pipe, or maybe it's just that it has more CCs than the R3, but this thing just sounds more aggressive. It sounds meaner, and it just sounds better. I'm not gonna lie, than the little R3 did. It's hard to put my finger on what the major difference is, because they're really these two very similar parallel twins that are roughly the same size, but this just has such a different note to it. It really does. I mean, just listen to it as I'm starting to go through these corners here. As you start to, there's a real change in the character of the sound of this bike right around 7,000 RPM. Let me see if I can get it happening here after I get through this turn. All right, so we're at about 6. Listen. Did you hear that? It's just this little change where it starts to get really high and really aggressive. It's so cool. It really is. I honestly think that anything more on this bike would be silly. Any louder and it would be all bark, no bite. And any quieter, and you're kind of defeating the point of getting an exhaust in the first place, especially on a bike like this. You don't necessarily care about power. That's not why you're getting this bike. You're getting it for just the kind of fun of riding a motorcycle. And that slip-on, it took me and Yammie 6 minutes and 20 seconds to put on. We've done a couple of exhausts. I had all the tools come out. Yes, we stacked the odds in our favor. But seriously, anybody could put this pipe on the bike. It literally is 2 bolts that hold this thing on. There's the clamp, and then there's the bolt at the passenger peg. Anybody could do it. And that's the point, right? That's the whole point of getting a bike like this, getting an exhaust like this, is that any beginner rider can go out and do it, and you know, even if the instructions aren't all there, you can really kind of intuit how it all goes together. And you get out of the garage 5 minutes later, and you have an amazing sounding bike. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There is a spot where I think because of emissions, this bike does seem to be running a little bit lean. And let me see if I can show it to you on the other side of this hill here. Okay, so we're on a nice flat section of road. Let me slow down just a little bit. Now we're sitting at about 30 miles an hour, and I just barely have the throttle cracked open. If I add a little bit of power, maybe you can't quite hear it. Let me roll off a little. Right there. You hear that? That little kind of like pop, 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 pop. There's just a little bit of spot really right at neutral throttle when you're cruising slowly. So kind of just really slow city riding, or, you know, if you're caught in traffic, you'll feel it a little bit. Where the bike just doesn't seem totally happy. I think if we richen the mixture just a little bit, it would help. But literally everywhere else, it feels fine. However, I think the single biggest thing, and this is my personal preference, the single biggest thing that this exhaust did is, I can't really show it to you while I'm moving. Let me pull over here. Okay, so the original muffler was like that big right here, which means that your heel was touching a heat shield. Now, again, I'm not sure if y'all are going to be able to see this, but I really have to work to put my heel on that pipe. Just if you're sitting right here on kind of like the middle of your foot, you'll never touch your heel to that pipe. And you could before on the stock one. And as kind of a bigger rider on a little bike, I do like anything that's going to give me just a little bit more room to exist, you know. Yeah, I don't like feeling super cramped. I just like a roomy riding experience. And that helps infinitely not tapping that heat shield. See, right around 7,000 RPM, it becomes something entirely different. And I don't know what it is, but the character of the bike changes. It really becomes more, you know, of a baby speed demon. It's great. Also, you'll have to forgive me. I know I'm not going super street Rossi mode right now. I'm wearing a brand new jacket, and I don't actually have pads in it because I'm still breaking the leather in. I got this thing for like $200 on Revzilla the other day, and it's a Dainese Legacy jacket, and it's so nice and comfy everywhere but on the motorcycle. I just have to sit and break it in, which is why I'm wearing it today. Does mean, though, that I'm a little bit limited in my range of motion. Oh, come on, Ninja, you can get me up this hill. Come on, you've done it before. Ah, yes. Go, go, go. Don't want to scare that dog. But again, and now, you know, going back to not wanting to disturb anybody, I really don't think this pipe is going to disturb anyone. It really isn't. It's like a perfect little neighborhood pipe. You're just going to go right past somebody. And, you know, they're going to be like, oh, it just sounds like a motorcycle. It doesn't sound like a deafening, you know, asshole bike. It just sounds like a bike. You know, as to, you know, maybe some sort of performance gain, if anything, it's very minimal. It's very minimal. I would argue that there's probably just a little bit more of a rush when we get to the top end, and maybe that's that 7,000 RPM kind of note change that I'm talking about. But you're not getting much more than, you know, maybe a horse out of it, maybe. And maybe that's just me being a bigger guy on a little bike. Maybe if we put, you know, someone like Yam or maybe even smaller on it, they'd notice a bit more of a change, because I've got a solid 50 pounds on Yam, maybe even more, because Thanksgiving just came and went and I've been eating like an animal lately, so I'm probably a little bit off on my life goals here. But that doesn't stop me from, you know, letting this Ninja just rip me along the road. It's so nice. It really is. I love this little bike. Alright, so now that we've run up on some cars, why don't I give you my final thoughts on the Ninja 400 and the Leo Vinci slip-on there. You know, to sum it up, I really do think that this is just the right pipe. You know, you could get a bunch of other ones, but honestly, having first-hand experience with this one and first-hand experience with the Acura on the R3, yes, they're different bikes, I really do like the way the Leo sounds over the Acura. And you know what? I think it just fits the character of the bike. It looks really sharp with that, you know, all stainless construction. And, you know, it just sounds great. It really does. So, remember, we are going to be giving this motorcycle away in February, I believe. So go ahead and get yourself entered to win. You can click the link in the description below. It's yammienoob.co, not .com. Then you can get yourself entered to win. You can also, if you don't want to sign up for a subscription or anything like that, you can go to yammienoobmerch.com. Get yourself, you know, any of the merch you want there. And every dollar that you spend on yammienoobmerch.com will be an entry to win this bike or the CB 650R or the DRZ 400. So that's just a nice way to enter to win if you don't want to sign up for that subscription thing or you don't want to register. But registering's free, so why not, right? But yeah, I'm going to be very sad to see this bike go one of these days, because I love riding around on it. It's so much fun. I'm going to turn a couple of laps here on my little road. It's not quite a racetrack, so I'm not going to treat it like one. But I am going to take my mic off and put it in the tail here for y'all. So if you want some more of that, go ahead and stick around. Otherwise, I will catch you in the next one.